McAfee is an athlete, not a reporter. And when it comes to stuff like,
Okay, so how many hours a week do I work? So for a couple of months when I was hardly doing any shows, I was working 60 hours a week, and I'm currently working about 30 to 40.
accuracy, he's careful to set the bar very low. He has become the epitome of athlete encroachment on terrain historically controlled by non-athlete journalists. And to put it mildly, the journalists are not happy about it. McAfee couldn't care less. Pat McAfee's influence is bigger than his audience.
My God, but he doesn't follow journalistic protocol. How despairing, all right, that he has a big audience and he puts together a very cost-efficient show and he doesn't follow journalistic protocol. I remember the Sky King, and John Smith says, seeing the dissident right's veneration of that guy really put me off that crowd. Yeah, I didn't get the veneration of the Sky King. So this guy stole a plane in Seattle and took it up into the air, and he told air traffic control, look, I'm just a white guy, right? I don't have any future in this country. And then he crashed the plane spectacularly, but he didn't hurt anyone else. So that is to his favor, that he didn't hurt anyone else. But yeah, people who venerated the Sky King were marginalized losers, aligned with marginalized causes.
Red Zone. When most sports fans are at work or school, it averages just 332,000 live viewers on its linear broadcast, according to the most recent figures from ESPN.
Yeah, that extreme victim mentality is repulsive. I completely agree with you. Now, what are the highbrow following journalistic protocol shows that Pat McAfee is replacing? Like Sports Center? Is he replacing editions of Sports Center? Oh, what a loss to our culture that we have Pat McAfee doing shows on ESPN, not following journalistic protocols.
ESPN, and factoring in other platforms like ESPN's YouTube channel and TikTok, its daily audience tops out at just under 900,000, a fraction of the 8-figure viewership for Monday Night Football. But the numbers belie how much attention he gets for the more provocative things that are said on the show, including the dingbat views of the Jets quarterback and anti-vaxxer Aaron Rodgers. Airtime equals power, and no one
Does airtime equal power? All right, there is a philosophy behind that statement, and the philosophy is that we evolved to be gullible, and it's a subscription to the zombie bite theory of information, that if you give people certain tantalizing bits of information, they will be turned into zombies. And so if you expose people to, distant right political views, well, they'll just turn into Nazis. That people are just incredibly gullible, and you dole out misinformation or disinformation or racism or vaccine skepticism, and then people completely against their own best interests, they'll just fall for it, and they'll be bit by this dangerous disinformation, and they'll just turn into zombies, right? This is a journalistic article following journalistic protocol in a prestigious magazine, The Atlantic, but the philosophical foundations for it are incredibly weak. Weak epistemics.
ESPN spends more time on air than Pat McAfee. From the moment he arrived, he's arguably been the network's most influential mouthpiece, and indisputably, its most polarizing.